This is the Stop Disasters game, and the web address where it can be found is easy to remember, stopdisastersgame.org. This simulation game is a product of the United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction, and it's intended to be a learning tool for planners and directors. Um, we're trying to learn about what um, places particular communities and structures and parts of communities at risk and what can be done about those risks. It says right here, the game is intended to help learn of the risks posed by natural hazards and, and shows ways that planners can manage the resources they do have. It also shows the choices that are made about where to build schools, hospitals, housing, and whether to consider putting up disaster defenses, which is something we'd call mitigation. And this allows the user to fairly quickly run through a whole bunch of scenarios of different types of disasters, making different types of choices. So it's a fairly interesting game. And the start of it is launch the game, and this it does provide several different um, types of disasters, each one of them located in a fictitious place in a real part of the world: earthquake, flood, hurricane, and tsunami. To get started, you can check the game objective as they present it, which gives a little information about the panels and summarizes what I'm about to say. But easier to learn this by seeing it. So we'll go right ahead and say play the game. And now we have some choices: a tsunami, Southeast Asia, earthquake in the Eastern Mediterranean, flooding, wildfire, or a hurricane in the Caribbean. And we get to choose amongst difficulty levels. And for this I'm going to exercise, I'm going to go ahead and and ask for my work to be assessed on an easy basis. The tsunami won't be as large, and the scores and results that I get won't be judged as harshly as if I picked a harder level. So I'm going to pick an easy tsunami, and it's going to show us an introduction to the community, and so it'll show us an introduction to the community. And this is a small village, and we are supposed to um, build housing for a number of new people moving to the area, a hospital and a school, plus they want hotels so that they can have an increased tourist industry. And we also have to protect against tsunami. So those are the goals. And now it says choose the best options and do what we can. So I'm going to go right ahead and and there's several things that are immediately available since the show risk button is turned on. As I navigate around the community, I see each block has it describes what it is, and there's a score given. The best score is 1. That's the safest from this disaster, a tsunami, probably because it's further from the water and at a higher elevation. So these are safer locations. At lower elevations, um, there is a higher risk, and right near the water on the sand is the highest risk, which is number 5. This indicator right here tells us how likely the tsunami is to start. It means as this probability bar gets higher and higher, it gets more likely that the tsunami will overcome us and will occur and overcome us. We can also check out this guy who says that at the very greatest amount, there's about 16 minutes for us to make all our planning and such, and he may cut us short if the probability gets high and our luck turns bad. So 16 minutes at the most. Also, if you feel like you're done, you can also click the disaster button and immediately cause the disaster to occur. So the first thing we need is to build some houses because it says we need houses. So why don't we build some safe housing in a very safe location. I'm going to try and win the game. To be able to win an easy version of a small simulation. So to build, you click on a square, and since we're going to build a housing or a building, we'll click on that circle, and I'm going to build safe. I'm going to build an apartment block. Brick houses. I will build brick houses, and that builds a brick house. And I was going to build an apartment building to save time, but I'll show you another way to save time, and that is when you click, you can rebuild the same building repeatedly, and we can put in many buildings in a very safe location. And I wonder if there's any faster buildings to build. They want to build a hotel, and of course the hotel should be near the water, I suppose, although that introduces a risk. Oh, I've got my hotel back there. I'll build another hotel right here. And some more housing. And I'm trying to meet all my requirements and then build some safety features before the storm actually happens. So I'll build some more concrete houses. Different cost of building on a different site. All the housing is complete. Hotels, I need a school as well, one of my requirements. And I also need a hospital. So now he tells me everybody's been housed and everything left. You might have some money left over. Would you like to trigger the disaster now? No, I think I'll wait. It'll happen quick enough, or I could trigger it myself. So I've met all the requirements. At this point, I can go ahead and try and put in safety features. So why don't I've got a lot of people over here, why don't I put in some safety features, such as sand dunes. And thank goodness for the repeat feature. So I'm going to try to build sand dunes. And although they may seem insubstantial compared with the size of a tsunami, good sand dunes can actually deflect the wave and make it spread out further and provide a small amount of protection for the structures themselves. So let's see. I'm running a little low on money, but I will continue to build sandbars and maybe some higher sandbars. And I'm going to use all my money just to be sure that I get the best possible protection. It looks like I can't afford anymore, so almost all my money's gone. And at this point, I've done what I can do. I've placed my buildings, and I can go ahead and click on the Start Disaster button because the timer hasn't caught up with me yet. So starting the disaster. And I do have the sound turned off on my computer. It was getting distracting and annoying. And so the tsunami passed. We can see that we can view the scene. We can see that the sandbars were badly worn, and all the beach was washed away, and the trees were ruined. But at the higher places, seems like the people did okay. And now we can read our news report, and it describes what actually happened, and we can view the assessment report. And it does tell me that I got a score of 20,000, and with no thing to measure that against. I don't know if that's good or bad, but that's the score I got. It did say I passed and I was successful, but it was a simple simulation, and I was on the easy. So you can design a simulation as you wish. The assignment is in the course notes, which I'll be posting every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But basically, you should run the simulation and write a report on what simulation you used. Um, let's see, what simulation you used, what were your results, or what were your strategy, what were your results, and what did you learn, or what do you think other people could learn from using a simulation like this. So that's the tsunami simulator.